ஆழ்வார் எம்பெருமானார் ஜீயர் திருவடிகளே சரணம். ஜீயர் திருவடிகளே சரணம். Today is kaiSika EkAdhaSi. This is an important day for Sri Vaishnavas. Generally, EkAdhaSi is a Vaishnava Anushtanam, that is a proper practice done by Vaishnavas. On this day, as shown by our elders, we generally fast from any food items. We don't consume any food items and focus the day in enjoying Bhagavan's qualities and singing his glories. It is usually carried out from the day, from the morning itself, throughout the night, and in the next morning, early in the morning, we do our Tiruvaradhanam and accept prasadam early to complete the fast. Specifically, this kaiSika EkAdhaSi relates to a historical incident from Tirukurungudi Dividesham. This is narrated in the kaiSika Puranam, which is part of Varaha Puranam. Long ago, during a deluge, earth was submerged in the causal ocean. Bhumi Pirati, the presiding deity for earth, was disturbed. Emberuman, Sriman Narayanan, assumed the form of Varaha, a wild boar, went into the causal ocean, dug out earth from there, and brought it back to its normal position. He kept Bhumi Pirati on his lap and consoled her. Bhumi Pirati at that time asked Emberuman, "You have protected me, but there are innumerable souls in this creation. How are they going to be protected and uplifted?" At that time, Varaha Perumal explains the glories of Nama Sankirtanam. Through this historical incident which occurred in Tirukurungudi. In Tirukurungudi, Emberuman is present in a standing position as the presiding deity of the Dividesham. This Tirukurungudi is in the southern tip of our Bharatadesham. It is under the foothills of Mahendragiri, a mountain. Emberuman is present in beautiful, colorful form in standing position with the name of Sundara Paripurana or Alagiya Nambi. Also in the temple, in the main temple, Emberuman is also present in seated position as well as reclining position. Outside the main temple, he is present as Thiruparkadal Nambi or Vamana Nambi, and on the top of the mountain, Emberuman is present as Malaimel Nambi, that is Nambi on the top of the hill. There was a very dear devotee of this Emberuman Nambi in Tirukurungudi. He was born in Chandala family. Chandala family means dog eaters family. They were considered unclean in those days, and this Nampaduvan, the devotee, was greatly attached to Nambi by the grace of Emperuman himself. Emperuman called him Nampaduvan, that means my singer, my poet, with great affection. Nampaduvan would always sing the praises of Emperuman, and one day on an EkAdhaSi, that is Kartikai month, Shukla Paksha EkAdhaSi day, he was practicing the Jagrata Vrata, which means spending the whole day and the night continuously being awake and thinking about Emperuman, singing his glories, and engaging in services for Emperuman. He set out to go to the mountain top where Emperuman was present, Malaimel Nambi was present, and he was heading towards the Sannidhi there so that he can go and sing for the pleasure of Emperuman. On his way, he was stopped by a Rakshasa, a demon, who was very hungry. The Rakshasa said, I am going to eat you at once. Nampaduvan was not disturbed at all. He said, I am going to do service to Emperuman on the hilltop. I am going to sing his praises and give him joy. I will do this throughout the night, and I will be back early in the morning. At that time, you can definitely eat me. Hearing this, the Rakshas was not believing the words of Nampaduvan. He was saying, who would go and come back to be killed by a demon? At that time, Nampaduvan says, I will make some vows here. If I don't come back to become your food, your prey, I will acquire the following sins. And then he starts listing out many sins. Each sin is more cruel than the previously explained sin in the same order. Let us see those sins highlighted by Nampaduvan. First, the Nampaduvan says, when I violate truth, when I cross the boundaries of truth, if someone does that, whatever sin they acquire, I will acquire that sin if I don't come back. And then he says, second, being engulfed with lust, if I engage with the wives of others, whatever sin I get, that sin I will acquire if I don't come back. Third, he says, when a few people are eating, if they are discriminated while giving foodstuff, if one person is given better food and another person not so good food, the sin acquired by that action, I will acquire that sin if I don't come back. Next he says, if one commits and gives some land in charity as donation to a Brahmana, but grabs it back, if he takes it back, whatever sin one acquires for that by that action, I will acquire that sin if I don't come back. Then he says, if one enjoys a girl when she was young after marrying her, but then when she becomes old, if he abandons her by finding some faults in her, whatever sin one acquires by that, I will acquire if I don't come back. Sixth, he says, if one performs Shraddam, the rites for ancestors in the form of Tarpanam on an Amavasya day, and subsequently engage sexually with his wife, whatever sin he acquires, I will acquire the same sin. He then says, the seventh item, if one blames or accuses someone who gave food to him, whatever sin he acquires, I will acquire that sin. Eighth, he says, if one promises another person that he will give his daughter in marriage to him, but then fails that promise, whatever sin he acquires, I will acquire that sin. Ninth, he says, if one takes food, one eats without taking bath on Shashti, Ashtami, Amavasyai and Chaturdashi days, whatever sin one acquires by that, I will acquire that sin. Anytime we eat without taking bath, that itself is a sin. But on these days, if one eats without taking bath, it's considered as great sin. 10th, he says, if I promise to do some charity, but then subsequently I refuse to do so, whatever sin I will acquire that sin by not coming back to you. 11th, he says, if one engages sexually with a friend who has greatly helped him, being ungrateful, doing that will lead to great sin. I will acquire that sin if I don't come back to you in the morning. 12th, he says, if one engages sexually with the wife of one's own Acharya or the wife of the king, the Acharya facilitates liberation and the king provides material comforts. If one betrays such Acharya or king in engaging with their wives, they will acquire great sin. And I will acquire that sin if I don't come back to you. 13th, he says, if one marries two women and shows favoritism or partiality towards one, he will get great sin. I will get that sin if I don't come back. 14th, he says, if one fails a chaste wife in her youth, even though she is fully dependent on him, he will get great sin. I will also get the same sin if I don't come back. 15th, he says, if one stops a herd of thirsty cows who are heading towards a water body, whatever sin that person gets by that action, I will get the same sin. 16th, whatever sin one gets by engaging in the great acts, abominable acts such as killing a Brahmana, which are explained in Shastram, I will get that sin if I don't come back to you. 17th, he says, if one gives up Emperuman Vasudevan and worships other devatas, whatever sin he gets by that action, I will get that sin. Now the Rakshasa is not convinced even after hearing all of these vows. And Nampaduan finally vows, he explains his 18th vow that if one considers the devatas which are created, such as Brahma, etc., all, many devatas who are in this universe, those who are created by Sriman Narayana himself, if one considers those devatas to be at par or equal to Sriman Narayana himself, Emperuman himself, one will get great sin. I will acquire that sin if I don't come back. Hearing this last vow, the Rakshasa understands the seriousness of Nampaduan, because nobody will dare to acquire such a great sin. The Rakshasa at once allows Nambaduan to go to the hilltop to perform his Kaikariam to Malamen Nambi. Nampaduan goes there, sings fully for the pleasure of Emperuman throughout the night, and in the morning he takes leave from Emperuman and he returns to the place where he met the Rakshasa. The Rakshasa was amazed to see Nampaduan back, and he realizes that this Nampaduan must be a great saint. So he falls at the feet of Nampaduan and he starts explaining his own history. He says in the previous birth he was a Brahmana named Somasharma, but during his time as Somasharma, while performing yajnas, he committed many mistakes, and because of that he was born as a Rakshasa, Brahma Rakshasa. Saying this, Brahma Rakshasa prays to Nampaduan, asks him to free him from his current condition by requesting Emperuman to give the fruits of the songs which he sung in praise of Emperuman. Nampaduan refuses to do that. He says, when we perform Kaikariam to Emperuman in whatever way, we should not ask anything in return. We should not ask for any favor in return. The Kaikariam should be done only for the satisfaction of Emperuman. But Brahma Rakshas does not leave Nampaduan. He prays to Nampaduan again and again, and Nampaduan becomes compassionate and finally asks Emperuman to free the Brahma Rakshas from its current state. Emperuman accepts and gives him his mercy and relieves Brahma Rakshas from his current state. And Nampaduan continues to serve Emperuman in this manner by singing his praises, and he too attains the divine abode of Paramapadam. Nampaduan sung songs in the meter called kaiSika. That is why this EkAdhaSi, in relation to this particular incident, is also called as kaiSika EkAdhaSi. Thus, this incident, this history, was narrated by Varaha Perumal to Bhumi Pirati. Bhumi Pirati hears this and becomes very satisfied, and subsequently she herself appears as Andal Nachiyar, gives us Tirupavai so that we can also sing Emperuman and be joyful and be uplifted. kaiSika Purana and this kaiSika Mahatmyam is also greatly related to our Sampradayam, where Parashara Bhattar, the son of Kuratalvan, Kuresha, sung this in front of Sri Ranganatha Periya Perumal in Sri Rangam on a kaiSika Dwadashi day. Sri Ranganatha becomes blissful and he says, I am granting you Paramapadam at once. Parashara Bhattar happily accepts Emperuman's blessing and he also ascends to Paramapadam soon after. Even today, this kaiSika Puranam is recited in many Divideshams on the kaiSika Dwadashi day. In Tirukurungudi Dividesham, this kaiSika Mahatmyam is played as a dance drama on the night of kaiSika EkAdhaSi. Thus, we have seen the glories of this wonderful day. Let us also be surrendered to Varaha Perumal, Bhumi Pirati, Tirukurungudi Nambi Emperuman, our Alvars and Acharyas, and spend our days always thinking about Emperuman. ஆழ்வார் எம்பெருமானார் ஜீயர் திருவடிகளே சரணம், ஜீயர் திருவடிகளே சரணம்.
Please download our Koil KOYIL app from Google Play Store or Apple App Store to listen to or download Upanyasams like these. Our website portal is koyil.org, koil.org.